Willkommen! My name is Sean Huggins. I'm an American living in Germany, and on this channel, I'm looking to learn all about life in Germany and Europe in general through watching silly videos and stuff on the internet with you guys. So, if you enjoy, consider subscribing. We got new videos every single day, and today's comment of the day comes from Dreykirger4297. And they say, the new camera setup is the best. Yeah, if you guys haven't seen my vlog that I uploaded on this channel a few days ago, you can go and check that out. But basically, I bought a new laptop and I'm trying to work through setting it all up and dialing in all the different software and hardware and the settings and trying to get everything into the best place that I can possibly get it. And it takes some time. Like, I had to make hundreds of videos on my last laptop to slowly tweak little settings here and there over the course of time to get to the point that it was when I bought this new laptop. And now I have to do all that all over again. So we're slowly getting there, hopefully slowly getting there. Hopefully the mic sounds better. I think maybe the mic sounds better now than in the last maybe 2 or 3 videos. You guys can let me know how does the mic sound? Does it sound better than the last couple of days? But yeah, we're playing with the camera settings, we're playing with the microphone, we're playing with a new laptop. We got all kinds of stuff going on. Things are going to be changing coming up soon here because me and Issa are moving and I'm not sure what equipment I'm going to be taking with me when I move. That's a whole different discussion for another time, but long story short, we're trying different things on the channel with the hardware and software, and I'm going to hopefully be trying different things with the content as well on the channel. So we have a lot of cool stuff coming this year, and hopefully the content will just keep getting better this year. If you haven't watched the vlog that I put on the channel, like I said, you can go check that out. But in that vlog, I basically thank you guys for watching the videos because you're the reason that I'm able to keep improving the content, because all the money that I've ever made on this channel, I put into buying a better laptop for it. So thank you guys again for the continued support, and just bear with me, we're getting there slowly. Speaking of getting there slowly, let's get slowly into today's reaction. That was a really stupid introduction, but whatever. Anyways, today we are taking a look at, are Europeans really becoming more right-wing? This is pretty interesting right now because of all of the protests that are happening in Germany, at least at the time of recording this. And I saw something online that maybe the right-wing people in Germany are trying to hop onto the farmer strikes and the protests for the farmers and try to glom onto what they have going on. And I gotta be honest, I'm not too educated on the topic, so we're gonna take a look at this video here. This is a few months old, so it's not going to be talking about the current situation of the German protests and stuff, but we're going to be taking a look at Europe as a whole, I guess, the general feel of Europe and I guess what's going on. And of course, as always, feel free to share your opinions in the comments because, like I said, I don't follow politics even in America, so I don't really know what's going on with any of this stuff. So I'm curious what you guys have to say about it. But let's hop straight into it, shall we?
Brought to you by NordVPN. In the last few months, we've seen a stream of panicked headlines from more liberal media outlets about the rise of the far right in Europe. These usually talk about places like Italy and Germany, where Meloni's Brothers of Italy and the Alternative for Germany are challenging the traditional party system. However, while it's true that the right is on the rise in some European countries, this trend can be overstated, both because the right are losing ground in other European countries and because in many cases these new parties don't fit neatly into the left-right analytic. So in this video, we're going to have a look at the state of European politics and try to figure out, are Europeans really getting more right-wing?
Him and I have the same microphone. Okay, let's hop into it. Too long didn't read news.
If you haven't already, please consider subscribing and ringing the bell to stay in the loop and be notified when we release new videos.
Of course.
So, when people argue that the right is on the rise in Europe, or that Europe is shifting right, they often point to a handful of choice examples. Italy, for example, is currently governed by a right-wing coalition led by Giorgia Meloni and her Brothers of Italy party, which is sometimes described as neo-fascist because of its roots in the Italian social movement.
I don't know what that means, but it sounds crazy.
Supporters of Mussolini back in 1946. Even if, like Meloni, you don't agree with the neo-fascist label, it's hard to deny that the Brothers of Italy have picked up some pretty right-wing policies over the years. They used to be in favour of leaving the Eurozone, opposed to gay marriage, and in last year's campaign, Meloni proposed a naval blockade of the North African coast to limit immigration.
Whoa.
But Italy isn't the only European country where the right seems to be on the rise. In Germany, for example, the right-wing Alternative for Germany, or AfD, is currently polling at about 20%.
Wow, the AfD, the right-wing option in Germany, is polling at second place. Whoa, that's crazy.
Behind only the centre-right Christian Democrats.
Wow.
When they were founded back in 2013, the AfD were mostly focused on leaving the Eurozone and avoiding a repeat of the Eurozone crisis. But they morphed into a more typically right-wing party in the late 2010s, when they started pushing against Angela Merkel's liberal immigration policies, with a particular focus on what they saw as the cultural threat of Muslim immigration. Today, they're still focused on immigration, but they've also started attacking German environmental policies, especially a controversial Green Party policy to ban most oil and gas heating by 2024.
Dang! Ban most oil and gas heating. Dude, that's most heating, I feel like. Oh my gosh, I don't know. What do you use then? Electricity? Dang, man, that's hardcore. Oh, man.
Difficult past with right-wing politics, the mainstream parties have so far maintained a cordon sanitaire when it comes to AfD, refusing to include it in coalitions. But in July, Friedrich Merz, the leader of the CDU, said...
Wow, that is a haircut right there. Look at that little island he has going on there. Sorry. He looks like a hair unicorn. Sorry. Anyways, let's move on. Wow, that forehead. Sorry. Okay. Anyways.
With the AfD
sorry.
At a local level. Similarly, in France, after months of protest over pension reforms and then police brutality, Macron's approval rating has dropped to 31%.
Wow.
And polls now suggest that he could lose to the more right-wing Marine Le Pen by about 10 points.
Oh my
if
goodness.
the presidential election was rerun today. In Spain, the biggest party at July's election was the centre-right People's Party, who beat the Socialists with the right-wing Vox Party in third place.
Wow.
In Poland, the right-wing incumbent Law and Justice Party is topping the polls ahead of the next election, which is due in October.
Dude, so even the places that are mentioned in this video that are the number one spot, it's like the number one spot are right center, which is still on the right, technically, just center right, so not so far right. So it seems like the right in general is probably more popular overall in Europe.
And the Confederation are in third place with about 11%. For context, the Confederation are definitely to the right of Law and Justice. They want to massively shrink Poland's welfare state, and they've pledged to protect Poland from, quote, Euro-communists and globalists in Brussels and Davos. In Austria, the right-wing Freedom Party is topping the polls, despite the fact that, when they first joined the government in 1999, their right-wing politics were so unpalatable to the rest of Europe that Austria was effectively sanctioned by 14 other members of the EU.
Whoa!
In Sweden, the largest party in government are the right-wing Sweden Democrats.
Dude, look at this guy's microphone. What the frick? I need one of those. Dude, looks like he has a poisonous spider crawling on his face. I need to get that microphone for the videos.
To identify as national conservatives and spend a lot of time railing against Muslim immigration.
Okay.
Like the AfD, they were originally excluded from coalitions, but this only burnished their anti-establishment credentials and boosted their poll numbers. And Sweden's traditional right-wing parties had no choice to include them when they won roughly 25% of the seats at last year's election.
Wow.
In Finland, the anti-immigration and Eurosceptic Finns party came second in April's elections and are now in a coalition with the centre-right National Coalition.
There it is again. The right-wing party is in second place and the middle right, the centric right, is in first place, but both of them are technically on the right.
So you get the idea. Clearly, in certain European countries, right-wing parties are doing pretty well. So, does this mean that Europe's shifting right? Well,
I don't
before we
know.
jump to
That's
that
why I clicked the
conclusion,
video.
A couple of caveats. First, this pattern isn't entirely uniform across the continent. In the UK, the centre-left Labour Party are currently 20 points ahead of the right-wing Conservatives.
wow.
And while Le Pen might be ahead of Macron in a couple of polls, this often happens, but she still ends up losing. In Spain as well, the People's Party were unable to form a government with Vox, while recent polls suggest the Socialists have regained the upper hand. Second, a lot of these right-wing parties have had to significantly moderate their policies to win elections, especially on issues like the EU. The Brothers of Italy, the AfD, Marine Le Pen, and the Finns Party have all previously advocated for leaving the EU or the Eurozone at some point in the past.
Dude, imagine all these countries leaving the EU. That would be freaking... Ooh, that'd be crazy.
But none of them want to actually leave and prefer instead to talk about reforming the EU. Something similar is true when it comes to immigration. Law and Justice, for example, are constantly talking about the threat of mass immigration and political Islam. But Poland actually reliably issues the most residence visas in the EU. And earlier this year, they announced plans to take in 400,000 immigrants from certain countries, including a bunch of Muslim-majority ones. In Italy as well, Meloni has presided over a sharp spike in irregular arrivals and last week introduced legislation allowing for an unprecedented 500,000 legal immigrants in the next 3 years. In the UK, the Conservatives talk a tough game on immigration and small boats, but last year allowed for a record 600,000 people to come to the UK.
Dang.
Third, many of these parties aren't really right-wing per se. While they might sound pretty right-wing on cultural issues, many of them are actually pretty left-wing when it comes to economic issues. Le Pen, for example, has attacked Macron for not doing enough to help French people cope with the cost of living, and promised during the presidential campaign to spend more to help low-income voters. The Sweden Democrats are also more pro-welfare than Sweden's other right-wing parties. And while the AfD started off as a sort of neoliberal party, they opposed the Greens' environmental policies on the grounds that they're too expensive for ordinary German households, which is one of the reasons they've become more popular with poorer Germans.
Yeah, dude, like I said, if you take out oil and gas heating in Germany, dude, what is it, electric and like wood? No one's going to be freaking burning wood, so it's going to be electric, right? It's just going to be electric heating. So, man, think about all the houses that would have to completely change their heating system and stuff. And, oh man, that would be crazy.
But you might also argue that these parties are more anti-establishment than right-wing, which would explain why most would-be AfD voters are apparently motivated by their dislike of the incumbent coalition rather than the AfD's policies.
So I guess a lot of people have said that they more so just dislike the current establishment and want to go against the current establishment rather than going with the far-right establishments. Interesting, okay.
So, what do you think?
I follow so far.
Is Europe actually becoming more right-wing? Or is this more about anti-establishment sentiment and the usual left-right analysis is a bit redundant? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below.
Well, yeah, like I said at the beginning of the video, I don't know anything about this stuff because I'm not a politics kind of person, but I have been hearing that the right wing has been gaining popularity in Germany. I didn't hear about all of Europe, but I heard that the right-wing party has been gaining popularity in Germany. And then when I saw this video, I was like, let me check this out. Let's see what's going on here. And yeah, I think that if you look at it just statistically, I mean, I'm someone who, like I said, I don't know what the heck any of this stuff means, but I think if you just look at it statistically from the polls that they were showing in this video, then I think it's clear to see that right-wing parties in a lot of Europe have been gaining a lot of traction. I think it's a really interesting topic. I don't really know where I stand on it because, like, I just don't care, to be honest. I choose to just not partake in politics because I don't really care for it. But I do find videos like this interesting where it's kind of studying the political landscape of Europe as a whole. That stuff is actually interesting to me. And yeah, like I said, I feel like it's undeniable that the right wing has been gaining traction in Europe, at least in the countries that were mentioned in this video. But again, I would love to hear what you guys, the experts, have to say about it. Do you think the right wing parties in Europe or in Germany specifically have been gaining popularity recently? And if so, Any theories as to why? Let me know down in the comments below. At any rate though, that's all the time that I have for today. If you enjoyed, consider subscribing. We got new videos every single day. Check the links in the description for all of my other social media, including my vlog channel. Thank you guys so much for being here, and as always, I'll see you guys tomorrow. Peace.